There's little Tim beneath the blossoms. I do like a woman with big blossoms. I mean, sorry, did I say that? That is my thoughts. No, I'm joking anyway. Today, hello. Today I'd like to take a look at this, which is a Barbour jacket. It's a part one of part two. Because basically this is going to be quite a long thing that I've got going on in it. Can you see that? I don't know what I can do with it. It's just, I can't get the labels in because it's all so heavy. It's waxed cotton jacket, right? But it says there, innit? J. Barbour and Sons Limited, Simonside, South Shields, like, hey, oh, you got to go up Geordie with it. And it says in there, fabrique en Angleterre. So that's French, isn't it? But it's great, mate. It's absolutely freaking superb, this one. Out knocking it about the camera, obviously. Acrylic lining. So there you go. And there's your royal appointments, if you can see that. This is an old jacket, obviously. And my old dad's one had a Scottish liner in it because my dad was Scottish. I'm going to have to clip that back in because I have to. It's come out clipped, hasn't it? It had a woolly winter warmer liner, you know. You willy warmer, like, you know. And, well, so this is a two-part video, right? These coats are sort of hunting, shooting and fishing jackets, and they're awesome. They're waxed cotton and they have this trademark kind of what's it called, corduroy lined collar. So to spin it about a bit, innit? That's what it looks like. I inherited this one of my dad, to be honest with you, because I could never have ever afforded anything like this. It's waxed cotton. As I say, they were usually used by sort of like, well, I guess it's being snobbish. Hang on a minute, let's try and get the ding dong in there and hang on the rang. Upper class kind of shooting set type people. Are you all right there, mate? It's a geezer, isn't it? You know, where there were either. It's there. We're going to go off pheasant shooting today, isn't it? And to be honest with you, I've eaten pheasant that's been out of a hunt, and it's horrible because it's just constantly spitting out lead pellets. It's just like, what? And the poor bird, you know, the stress it must have been. Anyway, it's another story. But ultimately, my dad did mug into this thing. He used to work up in Scotland a lot, north of the border. It's actually a twin zip, can you believe it? It's cute, man. It's really cool. This jacket's from about 1979 or 1980. It's really old. It's got two slash kind of pockets here, look, in it, that you can put your hand in. What's in there, though? Oh my god, what are we going to bring out now, though, innit? An old sock. And I'm not joking, that is an old sock. Is it a glove? No, it's gloves. It's gloves, isn't it? It's a glove. Hang on a minute. Let's flap it into place. Flip flap. There's gloves there. I don't know what they're for. Oh my lordy, this is new to me. I bet there's one in the other hand, isn't it? Hang on a minute. Let's go. There's another glove in it. There is. I can't believe it. And what's that? It's plastic. Some dog treat. That's my dad in a nutshell. There's another glove there, look. That's another glove that my dad had on his hands, in it. Bless him. He's been dead now 10 years, that poor bugger. But, yeah. So these had collar cuff things I'm tucked into to tie it around your head, innit? I don't think they ever had hoods on them, but I'll show you something else, because this is part one, right? This is part one of the Barbour wax cotton jacket. And it's going to be a duology, because basically this is a heavy coat. I mean, don't get me wrong, it weighs a breaking ton, innit? But well, here's the thing. A lot of these coats were very popular in 1982 They were used by officers, usually in the Royal Marines or the parachute regiment. And well, how's the funny thing? It was called the Falklands War. I mean, whatever they want to call it, Falklands conflict, Falklands tribulations. I call it a war. And it was fought against very decent people, Argentinian soldiers who, you know, by all straights and sounds, they were sort of considered by propaganda in British media as being idiots and what have you. No, no. They were very highly trained, and they had their own commandos, and they had their own parachute regiments, and they had their own business and bobs, and they dug in, mind you. So the Falklands is a really inhospitable place, and it was deemed on the 21st of May 1982 that a load of Marines and parachute regiment would have to yomp or tab. Yomping and tabbing is like walking. It's like, well, it's not walking, it's marching at a stiff rate. It's heavy shies, you know, as they say in Germans, in the Germans. And they landed on the east side of the island to go into combat 56 miles away. And well, it's 90 kilometers, and they did it in 3 days, carrying about 80 pounds, 36 kilogram loads, you know, and plus their rifles. Don't forget, bullets weigh a lot of money. Well, they weigh a lot of tons as well, isn't it? Lead on the end, and brass on the full metal jacket. So, whoa, hang on a minute. But they did it. They did it, didn't they, mate? Now, the point I'm getting to is that these jackets, because the British Army kit was such shite. I mean, don't forget that the Falkland Islands is mostly what we call in Polish torfowisko. So it's like a bagno, it's like a swamp, it's like a frickin' marsh, you know, it's like the ex-moor, you know, and the weather was apparently terribly inclement, to say the least. The only people I've ever spoke to, and I have spoken to quite a lot of them, Falklands veterans I'm talking about, the only thing they remember is the horrible weather, the wet, their feet being wet all the bloody time, and carrying these great big packs that they had to yomp and tab, you know, across conditions that were just horrible. And then they had to go into combat. I mean, it's ridiculous in a way. It's absolutely farcical that anybody could have considered, anybody in the military could have considered that as an absolute viable way of going into battle. Of course, I guess since Arnhem, the parachute regiment per se had thought, well, you know, that was a turkey shoot, and the German paratroopers in the Second World War found the same thing. You know, I mean, they landed on Heraklion in Crete. Well, half of them never actually touched the ground alive because they were just shot by it's a turkey shoot. So paratroopers did not actually go into battle in the Falklands, on the Falkland Islands, by parachute. They went in by boat, Nick, and then they had to tab it, and that was tough. That was tough. I mean, they must have been super fit to do that, carrying those loads and what have you. But anyway, the point I'm getting to, right, cut to the chase, man. These jackets were often purpose bought, privately bought by officers, because they knew that the 1968 pattern DPM combat smock, which was a load of old shite, heavy when wet, you know, to say the heavy when dry, although these aren't that bleeding light either. But if you're a super fit young man and an officer and you can afford it, then buy your wax cotton Barbour jacket, innit? And this is my dad's one. As I say, my dad did not fight in the Falklands. My dad fought in the Malayan emergency without the jacket. Obviously, this was bought much later. In fact, I think it might have even been given to him by a friend who knew him. And it has this lovely woolen, well, it's not woolen, but it's like a sort of fake faux fur liner. But ultimately what I'll do is I'll show you how the officers, especially this one that I have in my attic, if I can find it, came from a para officer. I think he was a captain, and it's got these two pockets here. Look, they're nice size. They're goodly sized pockets though. These, as I say, these jackets were mostly used by sort of poachers. I'm joking. Hunters, shooters and fishermen, innit? Or I call them poachers. But so what I'll do is I'll make another video about the adapted version of this jacket, a Barbour jacket from Soldiers one. Hey, but ultimately they were used by officers because they knew they were a lot better and more waterproof. Probably would keep you alive a lot more than this standard 1968 disruptive pattern camouflage jacket that they were issued with. Anyway, that's a lovely butterfly. Look at that. It's a brimstone, that is. It's gone. I don't know if you saw that. It's a yellow one. Anyway, all the very best wishes, and thanks ever so much for watching. If you've got this far, you know you must be nuts.